Introducing the Volkswagen Tiguan. And what do we know so far? It's driven by people who love outdoors. People with horses, surfboards and bikes and stuff. And they all choose it because it's one of the most useful cars on the road. And the reason I say that is because this car is really versatile. It's 4x4, it's high up, it's got a class-leading level of room and a towing capacity of 2.5 tons, which for a car this small is really good. The kids get special aircraft trays for their packed lunch, along with 8 cup holders, that's one for everyone, and some more. There are wipe-down surfaces for when someone makes a mess. And you get a choice of 32 different engines and variants. But if it helps, this 2-litre diesel SE with 150 horsepower is torquey, comfortable, and does 48 miles to the gallon. These gear changes are great. This one's got the DSG gearbox, which in my opinion is the best gearbox in the world. That puts, well, this car completely in its own league as far as gearbox are concerned. The steering is very good, plenty of feel, but also round town, very light and easy to park. This car is also remarkably quiet, which surprised me too. So there's not a lot of road noise to moan about. But there is something that makes this car even more special. And it's a small thing, and it's that. Those buttons might not look much, but they actually remove 50% of driving fatigue and change the whole driving experience completely. VW call it ACC, or Active Cruise Control, which takes the hard work out of driving and will stop and start all by itself. And whilst that technology isn't particularly new or exciting, and you can get it in a basic car if you want, VW are very good at it. They've had a lot of practice, and this one is as good as the one you get in an E-Class, which is, well, very expensive. It's the fact that they only charge you £280 for it in this that I like. I prefer less the fact that you can hear the diesel engine all the time, even though it sounds good when it's pushed. And although this could be one of the best looking cars VW make on the outside, not so much on the inside. What it is accomplished, sturdy and functional. Which is the point, right? This one has also got a very clever park assist function, which enables me to reverse non-embarrassingly into a space when I've got a horse box attached, or a caravan or a boat or something, which is very, very good. It's also got a fridge in here, which I don't need either of those things, but what I do need is a very good infotainment system. As I was saying, I think this is probably a better infotainment system than you can get in most of the competitors. Not all, but most. And I think you've also got this thing called CarNet, which is very good, which is free, but this one has Apple CarPlay. And if you have a look, you can see it's got Spotify in there. I can obviously use the phone. I've got maps if I don't want to use the VW maps. And I've also got tune-in radio and podcasts and everything else. And that is a really good feature. Plus, I've also got a little button here so I can get Siri to do stuff for me, or I can ask Siri for directions. An exhausted list of technology and personalization aside, the Tiguan has typical VW class-leading safety levels, including a very clever thing called Emergency Assist. So this works in conjunction with the lane keeping assistant and the active cruise control. What's happening now is I'm driving hands-free, autonomously. There's cars moving into my lane, the car is braking, and I've set the distance between me and the car in front. It's a very, very good safety feature. That there is the first warning to say, put your hands back on the wheel, whilst it still steers for me. But if I ignore that, and for some reason, in this case, if somebody's incapacitated or become unwell and unable to drive, or are just not paying attention, the car will do a number of things. The first is to give you another warning, which we'll do in a second. There. Then it starts to get a little more frustrated by dabbing the brakes a couple of times, which it's doing now, to tell me to put my hands back on the steering wheel and to pay attention. If I don't pay attention to those warnings, the car will eventually come to a complete stop. And stop we did, to try the 4x4 in action. We can do that. Okay, well, we're turning that off for a start. This is where we get stuck and we have to get Volkswagen to come and tow us out. Right, what should... Again, seriously, through the farmer's gate, and then what should happen now is it should
hill descent on this hill automatically by applying the brakes. I'm just going to not brake. Is it going to do it? Yes, it is.
And on the rough stuff, it was very impressive. But that said, it was time for something a little more sedate. Which it also does very well, by the way. And that's good, because I'm the type of person who wants a car to do as much for my life as possible for the minimum monthly payment. You see, that's the true value of any car, surely. Take you anywhere and do anything, minimum fuss, no arguments, like a loyal friend, which essentially is what the Tiguan is. Yeah, a loyal friend.